to Facebook or YouTube or both, we'll be talking to Dr. Blake about breast cancer. So, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Breast Cancer Awareness Month is an annual international health campaign observed in October. The primary objective of this month long campaign is to raise awareness about breast cancer, promote early detection, support those affected by the disease, and raise funds for research, prevention, and treatment. It serves as a reminder of the importance of regular breast examinations and mammograms to detect breast cancer at an early age and stage. So at that time, it will be more treatable if you detect it early. Now, today, Inside Body Talk, we'll be learning more about the different stages of breast cancer with Dr. Anneke Blake. Hi, good afternoon to you, Dr. Anneke Blake. Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
You are welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. And how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for asking. Yes. So we're here to talk about breast cancer. What is breast cancer?
Okay. Breast cancer is a malignant tumor that arises from the breast. A lot of persons don't know, but it also affects both men and women.
Mm-hmm. So
So,
it's not just women, but also men. So men can have breast cancer as well.
right, the incidence worldwide for breast cancer in women is about 1 in 8,
One in
but for
eight.
men, mhm, but
Mm-hmm.
for men, it's a lot less.
Okay. And how many stages of breast cancer are there?
There's actually 5 stages of breast cancer. It actually starts from stage 0 and goes up to 4. Um,
Oh.
mhm. So, with breast cancer, a lot of the time it's arising from ductal cells, and we call it a ductal carcinoma. So, it arises from the normal breast tissue, and as you know, breast tissue is made up of mammary ducts along with fatty tissue. So most breast cancers are ductal. There's also a lobular type as well. Ductal accounts for maybe 85%, and then lobular would be around 15 or so, but there are other more rare subtypes which would also make up the 15. Um, so in terms of the stages of breast cancer now, you have from 0 going up to 4. So stage 0 breast cancer is usually a ductal carcinoma in situ, because that is the most common one. But basically, it means that the cancer cells are present, but they have not breached the gland. They're confined to that small ductal unit.
Oh.
So that is the best time to catch it. But most of the time, when that is present, there is no lump associated with it. There is no skin
Mm.
change, and so it's more harder to detect in that stage.
Oh, so
But best,
in that case, how would we, we'd have to just go and do a checkup on the breast, like to
and it
determine.
can be detected with a screening mammogram, a routine mammogram. So
Right.
if you are most places start screening anywhere between age 40 and age 50 for women.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that screening and those abnormal cells are detected, then that is how most of the time. There are some times that it can manifest not with a lump, but with a nipple discharge. So in those cases, you would have a lady who is not breastfeeding. She might develop a green looking discharge or a gray or a white discharge.
On the
And
breast.
that can be how it can manifest. There are other benign reasons why a lady might have a discharge, but
And that's from
it
our
can
breast.
also,
Right.
mm, yeah, it can also be that it is an early manifestation of a tumor, a malignant tumor. So,
Wow.
right, that is stage 0, confined, and then you have stage 1, which is a good one to have if you have to have breast cancer. because the tumor is less than 2 centimeters in size and it has not spread from the breast. All right, and then going up to stage 2, the tumor can range in size from 2 to 5 centimeter, doesn't pass 5 centimeter, and sometimes there are some nodes to the arm being affected. So if it is that it is a 2 centimeter tumor and you do have some nodes being positive for cancer, then it upstages it to a stage 2.
Oh,
Or if it is that the tumor is 5 centimeters in size, but the nodes are not affected, it's still a stage 2. So you have different types of stage 2. And then the next stage, stage 3, and that is 5 centimeters or larger. And most of the times, you have more nodes being affected for stage 3. So that's quite a big tumor. And then for stage 4, that is can be any size of tumor, but the hallmark of that is that there has been spread to other parts of the body, and that you'll definitely have significant lymph node involvement in those cases. And the reason why they divide it up into stages is because the stage affects your prognosis, post diagnosis, and also affects the cure rate or the life expectancy, and it affects the treatment as well, the treatment options that are available to us.
wow. So you have 4 stages. It's four? Five. 5 stages from stage 0 to stage 4. So 5 stages of breast cancer. Wow. None of them is good to have. Just saying.
Oh,
Well, none of them is good.
and, and there are some risk factors. So none of us don't want to have breast cancer, but there are some modifiable and some non-modifiable risk factors that we have to be aware of.
What
So
are those?
okay, so the modifiable, these are things that can increase the risk of breast cancer, but it has to do as well with our behavior. So, for example, if it is that you have OCT use, if you use birth control pills, especially the combined ones that have both estrogen and progesterone,
Mhm.
studies have shown where there's a slight increase in the propensity to develop breast cancer. If you are a woman who is menopausal and you're using hormone replacement therapy, they have shown as well where that can also increase the risk of you developing breast cancer. And if you eat a fatty diet, a diet that is rich in a lot of fat, that again, and definitely I don't have to tell you about drinking and smoking because those have been shown to increase the risk of all types of cancers. So what we can do is try and eat a healthier diet, something more rich in fruits and vegetables, and
Dr. Anike? We seem to have lost her for a bit. I'm going to try to connect back with her in just a moment. This is Love 101 FM, the family station. All right, so we have reconnected with Dr. Okay, she'll be back in just a moment. This is Love Water 1 FM, the family station. So you've heard there are 5 stages of breast cancer. Stage 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And Dr. Blake is talking to us about the different stages. Spoke to us about the different types, right? And she's back right now, yes, to continue. Hi, Dr. Blake. Yes, welcome back.
I'm so sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened.
That's okay. You know, technology sometimes is just, we understand. Right. So where were you? Where were we?
I'm not sure where I cut off. I was speaking about diet and smoking and
Right.
alcohol.
You've stopped at the smoking part
All
there.
right. I
Mhm.
was saying that smoking and drinking increases the risk of a lot of cancers: lung cancer, colon cancer, esophageal cancer, and also breast cancer. So something that we can do is try to cut down on, those type of behaviors and try to eliminate it. But I was saying that these things have been shown to increase the risk, but at the same time, you have some women who do everything right and they still develop breast cancer sometimes because there are other factors at play. All right, so I'm going to tell you about some of the non-modifiable ones.
All right.
Your risk would be increased the older you get. So beyond age 60, definitely you have a higher incidence of breast cancer. If you have a strong family history, that is to say, two or more first degree relatives, so that would be your mother, your sister, your daughter, having breast cancer, increases your risk as well. If you have been shown to have the BRCA mutation, we call it BRCA1 or BRCA2, um, that increases your risk as well. Um, if you have a previous breast cancer in one breast, it increases the risk of breast cancer appearing in the same breast or the other breast. Or
Mhm.
if you ever had a breast lump that needed to be addressed, like with biopsy or removal, that
Right.
as well can increase your risk of breast cancer. Another thing that some persons might not know is that if you have a early menarche, that your first period comes early, like before age 12, and if you have a late menopause, then that as well can increase your risk of breast cancer just because of the prolonged exposure to hormones. Um,
Oh,
mhm. So those are just some of the risk factors that we can bear in mind.
and also if it runs in your family, right?
Definitely, definitely.
Yes, you definitely have to check if it runs in your family. Wow. Let's talk about the treatment options for breast cancer. So we
Right.
have, you know, so for instance, a person has gone to the doctor, they've done the necessary checks, the mammograms and those things, and they found out that, you know, they have some lumps and they're cancerous. What's
Mhm.
next step?
Okay, so as a GP, we would do the routine screening for breast cancer, but in terms of when the diagnosis is made, either using mammogram, we would send that person to a surgeon, a general surgeon, and
Mhm.
also a reconstructive surgeon, because one of the one of the pillars of management of breast cancer is surgery. Okay, so
Yes.
there are instances where if it is an early stage, like stage 0, stage 1, some stage 2, the cancer can be excised fully. Um, so we want to remove that. We also pair surgery with chemotherapy and hormonal therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So, right, you get medications that would target the malignant cells that are present in the breast and also present other places throughout the body, and that would help to reduce the recurrence and reduce the mortality of breast cancer. And then the final modality that is used in the management of breast cancer is radiation therapy. So this person would have to undergo radiation treatment, which is basically a local treatment. So they'd radiate the breast, and that would help to prevent the recurrence of cancer cells. Um, so those are the mainstays: surgery, chemotherapy, and
Radiation.
hormonal therapy and radiation therapy. Um, some persons, depending on the stage, might
Yes.
not get all of these treatments. So if you have a fairly low stage, they might not opt to do all three modalities, but it's individualized. Every
Yeah.
patient is different and there are other factors at play. For example, just one thing to mention, sometimes some breast cancers are sensitive to hormonal therapy and
Mm-hmm.
then some might not be. So the ones that are, we call them triple negative cancer, you have to be more aggressive about how you treat those. So those patients would require a lot of might require surgery multiple times. They might even require radiation before surgery to shrink the tumor. And so
Mm.
it's individualized. It depends on the patient before you, their age. But those are the three pillars of management.
Now, can breast cancer be prevented?
That's a wonderful question. Um, we can reduce our risk by trying to target some of the modifiable risk factors. For example, cutting down on certain foods, avoiding drinking and smoking, um, being very vigilant in terms of how we use oral contraceptives. There are some newer studies that are showing that, um, and in developed countries, they have actually been doing prophylactic mastectomy, and they
Hold
do
on,
this in
repeat that. Pro who?
prophylactic mastectomy as a method of preventing breast cancer.
What is
And I
that?
don't know if you did you hear about Angelina Jolie some years back, how she removed both of her breasts because she had a very strong family history of breast cancer, and she was found to have the BRCA mutation because that's what they do in some of those developed countries. They will remove the breast prophylactically so that there is nowhere for the cancer to develop.
Oh,
So that is actually something that is being done in persons who are very high risk for developing breast cancer.
wow. I just learned something. I learned that a while ago. Whoa.
Yeah. So it has to be a bilateral mastectomy. You'd have to
Mm.
remove both breasts.
Now, you mentioned diets, so certain foods that would put us more at risk for developing breast cancer. What are those foods?
Any food that is high in fat. Um, for example, a lot of oils,
Yeah.
certain meats, like that have a high fat content, white meat, especially like the breast of the chicken, tends to have a low fat content.
Yeah.
Um, and then no certain other parts of the chicken might carry more fat, for example, like the thigh or the leg. And then
Mm.
of course, certain other meats, for example, like pork, you
Yeah.
have the fatty part and you have the lean part. So the
Mm-hmm.
fatty part, things like that, and drinking and smoking, those are the main things that they have found to contribute.
Wow. Now, as we wrap, is there anything else you'd like to say on breast cancer?
Well, I would just like to encourage all women who are 40 and over to visit their private doctor, visit their health center, and just ask about getting, a breast examination done. Just to because early detection really does save lives. The
Yeah.
earlier we can detect it, we can get the treatment started, and then it increases the survivability.
Right. And it's not always a death sentence, right?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. You can come
Even
back around.
even for stage four cancer, the 5 year survival rate, it's um it's not bad. It's one of the cancers that we have spent a lot of time learning how to treat, and we do reasonably well doing so. So it's not a death sentence.
Mm. So just, go ahead, do the checks, the tests, everything that you need to do, and
Mhm.
just pray and have faith and just go through, and God will deliver. It's not a death sentence, as you heard my doctor friend here said, Dr. Blake. All right. So you know what to do. And there are changes that you must make to your diet if you have been diagnosed. So you have to cut down on the chicken and the meat and those things. Go natural, right, Doc? I'm talking right?
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
And food things and all of those things. Yes, man. Now remind us, where are you located and how can you be reached, Dr. Blake?
I am located at Beta Medical and Wellness Center, which is a doctor's office in Spanish Town, and
Beta?
yes,
Beta.
BETA, Medical and Wellness in Spanish Town.
Beta.
And you can reach us on Instagram at Beta Medical and Wellness, or you can contact our office at 812-8232 and
812
8232.
32.
Right. and it's a general office, general practitioner office. We also have physiotherapy services, dermatology services, counseling services that we
Oh,
also offer here.
I heard that you're the CEO.
I am one of the managing directors, yes.
Okay, nice. That's the Beta Medical Center. And for more information, we can always just call 876-812-8232. Right, Dr. Blake?
Yes,
All right.
that is
Thank
it.
you so much for sharing. Thank you for your time. And
And
someone,
thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
me too. Thank you. I was well educated. Trust me. Someone says, Sarah, and drink a lot of soursop leaf and eat lots of fruits. So, lots of soursop tea and eat fruits.
You can't go wrong with fruits.
We can't go wrong with fruits. All right. Thank you again, Dr. Blake, for sharing.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. And that was Dr. Anneke Blake sharing on different stages of breast cancer. This is Love 101 FM, the family station. Thank you so much for watching and listening.